Hello, hello, hello. Now you should be able to hear me. Sorry about that. Fantastic start. Didn't even have my friggin' microphone plugged in. Hey, give me a second. Give me testing. Cranking it up. Hey, babes. Hey, babes. There we go. Okay, now we're cooking. Sorry about that. So I've got a little bit of room, so I can still turn it up a little bit. Hey, there we go. All right. Sorry about that. I was charging my phone and I did not even notice that my microphone is not plugged in. Hey. Be cool. Everyone chill. How are we all doing? It's a bright but pretty chilly springtime evening in London, old London town, and I'm here in my springtime fit. How we doing, besties? We doing all right? Ooh, hello, friends of PhilosophyTube. Welcome to the Hogs as well. If you're a trash feature hog, good to have you. Good to have you here. Oh my god. I'm doing good. I'm a little sleepy. I didn't sleep very well last night, so I'm a bit loopy. So welcome to the stream. If it's your first time on the stream, we like to have things be cool. We like them to be chill. We like to have a nice time in the chat. Thanks, Jennifer Roosh. Thank you also for reminding me that if there are any super chats, I do my best to shout them out. If you're super chatting me questions, best to keep the questions simple because they tend to, fly past pretty fast. They tend to past the. You know what I mean. Very sleepy. We usually like to start by lighting a candle, but I don't have any. It ran out last time, and I haven't got a new one because it's my birthday in a week, and I've asked for some new scented candles. So I haven't bought myself because I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be getting some. So we're just gonna have to imagine a candle. I'll light a match and then blow it out, and you'll just have to imagine that I lit a candle. Here we go. Thanks, Rowan Scout. Thanks, Mr. Winwood. Favorite piece of classical music? Do love a bit of Tchaikovsky. Just pretend I'm lighting an imaginary candle and it smells of whatever your favorite smell is. There we go. Doesn't that smell nice? Cool. So we like to look. Brain. I can already tell it's going to be a good stream. It's going to be a really, really good one. Can I turn the volume up? Yeah, you can turn the volume up on your computer. That's the magic of having your own device. The levels are finely balanced. So yeah. I'll turn it up a little bit. So, oof. Sleepy. You can tell it's going to be a good stream already. So we like to look at the last video that I made. I like to look at a little bit of the feedback to it. We'll probably hang out for about an hour and a half. Hey, thanks very much, Eli Powers. That's cool. And we'll look at some of the comments. We'll look at some of the fan art. There were also some really good intellectual responses to this video. Oh, thanks, Harpy Beats. I think my hair looks terrible. I'm finally, and thank you to Andara Bledin. Finally, I'm gonna be able to get my hair cut after a year. I can finally get it styled again, and I did get it done in December, but I can get it I can put the dye back in, and God, it's full of split ends, and it's terrible. But I am filming a TV show on next week, and then just before I can get my hair done. So that's cool. I managed to get my nails done finally, which is nice. Oh, love it so much. Finally, I've got my claws. So yeah, I do need to get my hair done because it's a mess. Blah. So let's all. I don't think there is a slow mode. So people are asking about slow modes in chat. I do not think that there is one. I don't think such a thing exists. Or if there is, I don't know how to do it. So we're all just gonna have to learn to get with the vibe, you know, because that's the vibe of the streams. That's how we do it. So don't even worry about it. Just chill. So yeah. I'm doing a TV show next week, and I'm getting my hair done just before. Thank God. So I don't have to be on TV with terrible hair. So yeah. Anyway, what are we doing again? We're looking at comments. So yes, the last video that I made. That's what we're doing. God, I'm so out of it. And I'm like, I've been working all week, and I'm working all weekend, and I'm working all next week. So this is the only night I can do the stream, but I'm exhausted. So the video. The last video I made was called Jordan Peterson's Ideology. It was a definition and also simultaneously a demonstration of what ideology is. And long-time viewers of the stream will know that I have 3 criteria for when like if I fill these 3 criteria, then I am happy with the video. So was it made from curiosity, not ambition? Yes, I think it was. Liz Walsh, thanks very much for that super chat. The weather is currently pretty nice, a little on the chilly side, but it's good. The second is, did I make it out of a place of compassion, both for myself and others? And in particular, since this one was about another real person, that's something I was really paying attention to. Was I compassionate with this video? Yes, I think I was. I very deliberately did not insult Jordan Peterson or say anything bad about him. I tried very hard to. Yeah, so I did do my best with that. I think I made it from a place of compassion, and I hope that came across. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment. And the final one is it my unique creative vision? Yes, I think it is. I think definitely in this case. So I'm pretty happy with it. In terms of like numbers, it's done really, really well. Good crikey Moses, crikey Moses, what am I, 500 years old? Crikey magadzooks, zoons, my lord. It has 868,000 views in a week, which is pretty good for one of mine. Like, that's definitely like top tier for one of my videos, which is pretty cool. So, I mean, you know, numbers don't really matter all that much. If I get over 120,000 views in the first 24 hours, then I'm usually like, yeah, cool, I'm happy with this. This is a good one. But this one, yeah, 868,000. It's like, oh, beautiful. Would you do a video on Nick Fuentes? Says Olatization. I don't know who that is, so probably not. Didn't Thought Slime just do... I swear I've seen that name before. I don't know. Thank you very much to that Russian super chatter. Any KJB fans in the chat? Any fans of Kill James Bond? It's good, isn't it? Hey John, good to have you here. So yeah, the video did really, really well. Zoons, it did well. Ooh. Which, you know, that's kind of cool. Do I have any notes to myself before we get into comments? Yes, I think so. I think I could have said more about phenomenology. Yeah, there's a lot more to phenomenology. I really only kind of like gave you like part 1 of it. So maybe at some point in the future I can come back to it. I think, you know, if I'd really gone into the weeds with phenomenology, it would have like, it would have bogged the video down. You really only need to know that first bit in order to understand how Peterson is using it, which is cool. I was also happy to talk a little bit about phenomenology this time, thanks Eden Co, because it's kind of like correcting my previous video. So with this one, like, I know that I've done a video on Jordan Peterson before, and what I was aiming for was that if you have seen that, you will get a little bit more out of this one, but you don't have to have seen anything else. Like, that's the kind of videos that I'd like to make, where if you have seen my other stuff and if you pay close attention and you get the details and stuff, then you'll get more out of it, but you don't have to. Each one does stand alone. So the next one that I'm making, that I've written the first draft of now, if you've seen Ideology, then this one will kind of like chime well with it, but you don't have to have seen this one. You can kind of jump in at any point. That's kind of what I was going for with this one. So yeah, that's I think I kind of hit that mark. Like, a few people said that because the arsonist's sister is in it. I mean, certainly if you've seen other appearances of the arsonist, in particular if you've seen my video on Steve Bannon, then this one will like make a little bit more sense. And thanks very much, Michael Tanak. I'm probably still not going to turn it on, if I'm honest, because like I'm in my presenter mode now. I'm in my flow, and I don't want to break it out and go fiddling on my settings. It's bad content. And also I can read that fast, so watch me miss like 10 messages now. So what was I saying? What was I saying? I just said I was in my flow, and now I've completely fallen out of it. Yeah, so if you've seen my other stuff with the arsonist, then I think you'll be able to like pick it up a little bit more, thanks Skyar. But I think the idea that like arson is a metaphor for fascism is like fairly obvious, or like you can kind of get some of the vibe for it. And even if you just appreciate it as like a literal thing, even just think it's like a literal fire, then I think you can still like, you know, it still kind of works. So yeah, if you've seen my other video on Jordan Peterson where I was dressed as the devil, this has like an angel heaven theme. So yeah. Also, there's something that Peterson says in his book like about angels. He references it at some point, and in the margins I write, angel character, so that's fun. Thanks very much, Han-Soo Kim. The answer is I have no idea. Do I look like a tran with a plan? This one was a reference to the Angel of Mercury, which is a kind of sneaky reference to Jordan Peterson. If you read chapter 2 of his book, you will know why that Mercury symbol is there. So, hey, layers and layers and layers. So, yes. Oh, the other thing I wanted to flag up is that Nina Richards made some amazing music for the final bit, the kind of Adelaide Sweetley Schmitz's theme song. God, she looks so sinister. The theme music that plays kind of under her, which is Nina Richards wrote that. Emily Diamond, I will do in a minute. I will do later on. We're going to get into it. And thanks, Magnus Nethan. So yeah, the theme music that Nina Richards wrote is like really, really good. And Nina has just released a behind-the-scenes video about how she made that track. So if you do want to go and see it, then Nina's put it on her channel. Cersei Island. I would love to get a pet. No, I haven't got my ears pierced yet because we're still in lockdown. And no, the person who walked... A few people picked up on this. There's somebody who like walks past the window a few times as we're filming. And everyone was like, oh, like that's like a clever, like a... Is that like a reference or something? And I was like, no, that is just people on the street walking past in the background. Sorry. Yeah, so that was fun. Anyway, I think now let's look at some comments, and then we'll kind of get into the weeds of the video. We'll talk a little bit more about it in detail. So, oh my gosh, first of all, D'Angelo Wallace stopped by to just like say hello. I did not realize that he watches my videos, which is terrifying, but hey, good to have you here. That was kind of scary. But awesome, and it's cool that he liked it. Big time YouTuber, you know, hot property at the moment. So one thing I did really enjoy and appreciate is I got quite a few messages from Jordan Peterson fans saying, hey, like, I really like that you didn't like just dunk on him. Thanks, Michael Tannock. And I like that you sort of didn't insult him and you tried to engage with his ideas. I did get a few people being like, oh, you didn't engage with his ideas at all. So it seemed like Peterson fans were a little bit divided on this one, but hey. Yeah, so this was really cool. This is really cool that they, because this is what I was going for. The kind of, it's like trying to be fair-minded, failing in interesting ways, being incorrect in interesting ways. So yeah, I really appreciated these people saying so. Maybe they made up some of the views. Oh yeah, so there was a recurring joke where like I had quotes from philosophers come up on the screen, and then I like, you know, overlaid them with a bunch of like other stuff that was like nonsense. Let me try and find it. Yeah, like stuff like this. These jokes where I was like pretended to be quoting from Husserl or other philosophers and then like mashed it up. Thanks, Chaya Mishla. Yeah, so this was quite polarizing actually. Some people were like, this is not cool, don't do this. People were quite upset about this, even like patrons. So, I took that on board. So, the reason I did this was because Husserl doesn't lend himself well to quoting a small chunk. There's some philosophers that do, but Husserl, at least when I read him, I had to read like, you know, quite a lot of it before I got it. So I guess the reason I did this was because Husserl and also like Althusser and Barth are quite difficult, and if I'd gotten really, really bogged down in it, then I think it would have just kind of dragged the video out. But some people said, no, actually, I really did want to read what he was saying, and like it kind of feels like you're telling me I can't understand it, and that you're kind of talking down to me. So that's a fair point. That's like a fair cop. I don't think this is a joke that I would have wanted to repeat anyway, because I don't like, I don't think I'd have done this again. But I do think that is fair enough, and I'll take that criticism on board, and like I don't think I'll do that again. It was a joke that like it's like still landed with some people, didn't land with others, and I'm trying different things, and it's not something I'll think about repeating, but thank you to all the people who flagged that up. Elias V, thanks so much for that. Do you think we'll see a public intellectuals crossover? I'm not quite sure what you mean by that. Zizek and Peterson did crossover. I didn't watch that, but anyway. Kyle Landry. Oh, this one was really, really good. So there were some people who left critical comments, but they were like really, really interesting. So Kyle Landry brought up this really interesting point, where you remember how I was talking about the notes that aren't being played? Well, Kyle pointed out that like, well, the things that the text doesn't say, like there's infinite things that it doesn't say. If you were to make a list of everything it doesn't say, then that list would be infinitely long. Yes, Fence Rider it was. The list of things that the text doesn't mention would be infinitely long. So if you're coming at the text from the point of view of saying, well, what notes are you not playing? How do we avoid just like projecting onto it? Because like it doesn't say loads of stuff. Like, I mean, it doesn't mention like, what did I have for breakfast this morning? But like, so how are we deciding of the notes that aren't being played? How are we deciding which ones are relevant? And I think that's like a really, really interesting challenge. And like, I can see why somebody might take that and go, well, why shouldn't we just focus on what the text actually says? I think that's like a really, really cool thing. Like, and I think weirdly, I have, because I have a friend of mine who like studies, I have a couple of friends actually who study posts and posting and internet culture. I notice this sort of thing a lot online where, especially on Twitter, people tweet something and then people think that it's a reference to something else, or they will take it and spin it off in bizarre directions and interpret it in like very, very like weird ways. And that's one of the things that's so weird and terrifying about being on the end of like a harassment mob, is because the things that you say get interpreted in this like totally surreal, uncharitable way. So I think that Kyle has genuinely raised a very interesting point here. Thanks, Red Rabbit. So I wanted to say thanks to Kyle for bringing this up. That's like really, really cool. I wonder if maybe I can like... Yes, thank you. Rachel, you've summed it up beautifully in chat there. Who decides which notes that aren't being played are relevant? Yeah, well summed up. So, yeah. I think this is a really interesting point. I might see if I can try and work it in to my next video a little bit. I don't know. But yeah, thanks, Kyle. Very good comment. I like it. Anyway. Oh, yes, this was another one. So a few people left interesting comments like this. This one was just an example. So I talked a little bit about Peterson using the idea of unconscious resentment to write people off and not listen to them. Quite a few people, I'm just trying to find my notes here. Yeah, some people said, well, what about things like, unconscious racism? Your boy Euthyphro, I think it would be irresponsible of me to answer that question. What was I saying? Oh yeah, unconscious resentment. What about, and people were like, well, this is just like, what about the woke left? You're always accusing people of like unconscious racism or unconscious bias and stuff. And like, I think a few people meant this in bad faith, but I think a few people were like genuinely interested and curious. Thanks Bruno Scheibel. So I think, and I haven't looked into this like a huge amount, but I think there are supposed to be like, studies that you can do. Like you can do an experiment to try and measure unconscious bias. I think it involves like looking at pictures and clicking on things really fast. I'm not sure. So I think the idea is that you could test for it. Peterson does cite some studies in Beyond Order, some psychological studies, a couple of which I went away and read, including ones that he's authored, that talk about the psychology behind people's political positions and how to test for that, and they are genuinely really interesting. I don't remember any of them being about resentment specifically, so perhaps one difference might be that supposedly you can test for unconscious bias and unconscious racism. How accurate that is, I'm not sure. I think that Christina and other commenters do raise a very interesting point though, and this is something I've seen others say, which is that talking about like unconscious bias and unconscious sexism and stuff is sometimes used as a way of like not shutting people down, but like avoiding talking about material inequality, for instance. So I mean, a politician might be like, oh, I'm gonna like have unconscious bias training for all my staff, and that's gonna like solve racism, instead of being like, what about racism and stuff like housing and healthcare, I'm perhaps this is my own political bias, but I'm more interested in sort of material inequality than like unconscious inequality. And I do think that sometimes the kind of unconscious stuff can be used as not like bullshit, that's like a kind of strong, but like a kind of a way of avoiding talking about other stuff. So I do see, oh, sorry, I just hit the table with my enormous Spectre ring. Yeah, so I do think that this sort of raises an interesting thought-provoking point. So thanks for that. There was some good some good intellectual engagement under this one. It's very, very cool. I appreciate it. Nice. Sorry, there's a truck going past. I might be about to sneeze as well. John the Duncan, you've just summed it up beautifully. A reduction of systems to interpersonal relationships. Nice. I thought I was going to sneeze. I'm not. Oh, so this was really interesting from Elijah Caballero. I only saw this about half an hour ago and it's really got my brain spinning. I think Elijah means this. If you can't read it, it says, I usually associate high productions such as this video with fantasy and entertainment. I prefer to get my philosophy from individuals ranting in their cars, LMAO. So I think Elijah means this as a kind of a joke. But there were quite a few people underneath the video who were like, I don't like that this has visual metaphor. I don't like that it has theatre. I don't like that it kind of has an artistic flair component. And I've had comments like that for even before I transitioned. I had a couple of comments on that. They have definitely picked up since I transitioned. So, and there were some people leaving comments that just like, I don't like the kind of, for lack of a better word, visual theatre. We'll call it that. People saying I don't like the theatrical stuff. And there was unfortunately a lot of transphobia under this one. And there was some overlap there. Not complete, but some. So I think that for some people, they see theatricality in the video or visual metaphors or art as being artificial or a marker of artificiality, and then they also see my gender as being artificial, as a cis woman is just a woman, but like a trans woman is like quote unquote fake. So I think there's some overlap there. They're like, oh, it's kind of like fake acting. It's like fake. It's like lying, and then also like you're a trans person. So I think that's part of it. But then there were some people even before I transitioned and also now who it doesn't seem to be about that, and I'm curious. Maybe I should even do a video on this. I'm really curious about like. I wish I could sit down with Elijah and be like, why do you think that intellectual content has to be in a kind of format of a guy in his car, like ranting? What sort of a format do you think that intellectual content has to have, and why isn't it this one? Like, why do people expect art and intellectual content to be separate? Because they're sure as hell not in the art world. Like, just because nobody comes out at the start of Waiting for Godot and is like, yo lads, by the way, like this is a play about absurdity and like this is informed by the perspectives of Albert Camus and this is what we're at. Just because nobody comes out at the start of The Plague and says, oh hey, this is a metaphor for fascism and like look out for the following key themes in the text and they'll be answering test questions at the end. Like, just because nobody does that doesn't mean that the art has no intellectual content. So I'm interested in this like I'm interested in this like assumption of intellectuals should be like dry. I mean, a lot of people seem to think that like essays, including video essays, should have someone come out at the start and say, hello, the thesis statement of my video is this. To begin with, I will define my terms by quoting the dictionary. And I'm like, God, it's so dull. I hate it when people quote the dictionary in a video essay or in an essay, which is why I keep making fun of it. I did it in the Confucius video and I'm going to do it again in the next one. I think that quoting the dictionary is just like, ugh. And like the thesis statement of like, this video will argue that and I'm like, okay, like, okay, that's harsh. I'm not saying you shouldn't do that. To me, it seems a little bit like first year of making videos. You know what I mean? I'm just like, and if I click on a video, I am prepared. Thanks, Karina Freeman. And maybe this is a reflection of my video viewing habits. If I click on a video and I'm sitting down and I'm gonna watch, I'm gonna pay attention. You've already got me, right? You've already got me. You've already piqued my intellectual curiosity. I don't necessarily need a thesis statement. I'm like, give me something to hook me. Give me something interesting. Even if it's like, and there's ways of doing this that are just all in the presentation. And I don't know, like, I suppose I'm quite lucky that I was like trained to present and I've got a lot of experience doing it. But you can do things with your presentation that like keep somebody interested. I mean, like, so here's the question, and here there's about to be a very interesting thing happening. You can do that all with your voice. Thank you very much, Corey Fisk, and also Stephen Davis. What was I saying? Yeah, you can do a lot of presentation and like with your voice. So I'm interested in, maybe I should do a video about like art and intellectual content. I'm really interested in this. This because I watched Dan Olson's video about the nostalgia critic recently, and Doug Walker has been doing videos on YouTube for 12 years, almost as long as I've been at YouTube. And he started out like putting in characters in skits in what was otherwise an opinion piece. So I mean, like, it's not like the artistic stuff is like breaking new ground, like. And I do think that Auto Paradise, maybe I may do. I do think that like an artistic sometimes a character can really sell something. Because, like, in fact, this is probably a pretty good segue to talk about Adelaide, the character who was in this video, and Mr. Carden's comment, why the incest. So I knew that this would get some people talking. So let me show you. I'm in the wrong window. Here we go. Rotate PDF. What a lovely screen. What a lovely free screen. Blah. Open your eyes. Lovely. There we go. So Adelaide Sweetly Schmitz, columnist for the Daily Graph. Oh God, what a freeze frame. There we go. That's a nicer one. Adelaide is the embodiment of a particular kind of right-wing liberalism specifically, but also more to the point, she is supposed to be a demonstration of someone who is lost to ideology. She is so lost to ideology that she cannot see the very obvious fact, which is that her brother is an arsonist. Thank you very much, Chris Godwin. So yeah, that's the kind of running joke, is that her brother, like, always smells of smoke, and he's like a traveling petrol salesman, and he's like very obviously an arson. He's very obviously the guy behind these arson attacks, and she is blaming like anyone else because she can't see it. And that's supposed to be kind of like a cautionary tale of ideology. And also so I explain the kind of the intellectual stuff, like using a narrative to construct a community. What was the middle bit? Like through subjectification, the things that aren't being said. So I'm telling you about that, but then I'm also showing you someone doing it. Thanks very much, Circe Island. So the idea is that you get both. You get the definition, but you also get a demonstration. And I think the demonstration is, I don't do it in every video, but like I think that sometimes it's important, because I think it's important to show people like, this could be you. Like, you know, you watch a video about ideology, it's like, okay, cool, well, I'll never be ideological, like, I'll never do it. But then, you know, you see like this, and you kind of like, you don't realize that it's happening. And now you'll be able to, hi Nina, we talked about your music earlier on. Now you'll be able to like, look at a news report or see a newspaper and be like, oh, like you're kind of already getting a practice version, like you're getting a dress rehearsal. Because what I want people to be able to do is to be able to go out into the world and like, put on the glasses, right? To be able to see the ideology when it's there. So by giving you this kind of like character, you're getting like a little bit of practice. You're getting like a dress rehearsal for that. That's the idea. So Adelaide Sweetly Schmitz, misinformation, very, very obvious. Very, very obvious pun. So yeah, her brother is the arsonist, and that's the kind of central joke of her character. And at the end of, well, gradually throughout the video, we kind of pick up the vibe that she is, thanks Amanda Idange, we pick up the vibe that she is like, maybe a little bit too into her brother. And then we get this, ooh, that's Curiosity Stream. Then we get this kiss at the end. Thank you very much to Lois as well. Yeah, we get this kiss between them at the end, in which, so you don't actually have to understand that the arsonist is that arson is being used as a metaphor for fascism. You could just interpret it as literal arson. But the point is that she, by being so mired in ideology and not seeing the fact, she is giving him the light. She is providing the spark that lights these fires. That's the message, really. So some people said, why make her why make her his sister? So if you understand that, if you pick up on the vibe, which is clearer in Steve Bannon but is kind of implied in this, if you pick up on the vibe that arson is a metaphor for fascism and right-wing violence, and you also understand that Adelaide is a kind of particular sort of right-wing liberal, then not only are those two, so they're the embodiment of these two ideologies, and they overlap. That's the point. They overlap both like physically, in the sense that they are like literally, bodily overlapping, like actually physically touching, And also they come from the same place. They are like brother and sister. They are made of the same thing, which is the interest of capital, although I don't say that explicitly in the video. So that is why. That's why there's like a romance between them, and that's also why it's not that's also why it's in particular an incestuous romance, is that they come from the same place, they are made of the same material, they are homoousian, a word I learned from Dan Olsen yesterday, and they also are entangled. So that is why. Thank you to Angel Iglesias Garcia. There you go. There you go. And also, just as a little nod to Vladimir Nabokov, his name is Ivan Schmitz. So in the original play, The Arsonists, which inspired the character of the arsonist, the main arsonist in that is just called Mr. Schmitz. So I decided to call him Schmitz. So I decided to call them Adelaide and Ivan, because it's like Van and Ada, which is a brother-sister incestuous couple from a novel by Vladimir Nabokov. That's just a reference. That's not a metaphor. You don't need to know that. It's just, yeah. Oh, also the other thing that the incest does. So when I first created The Arsonist, I had this problem that some people were like, yeah, based. Like, I agree with him. Because they didn't really understand that he was like a metaphor for fascism. They just listened to like the literal content and didn't see the ideology, and they're like, damn, this guy's really, really cool, like I like him. And I was like, oh, okay, so I need a very, very clear signal that like something has gone wrong with Adelaide. Like, she is so mired in ideology that she has gone beyond traditional morality. She has done something that a lot of people would find repulsive. It's a clear signal to the audience that like you are supposed to be uncomfortable at this. You are supposed to go, oh, this is wrong. Something's gone wrong here. So yes, there you go. That's why. That's why. That's why I created her. And actually, I actually created the character of Adelaide, it must have been a couple of years ago now. I wrote down the initial idea. I was originally going to do a video about protest. Yeah, I thought, oh, I'll do a video about protest. And I was like, oh, I bet the arsonist can have a sister who's a newspaper columnist, and she should be called Adelaide Sweetly Schmitz, because it sounds like sweetly shitting, like every week in her column she shits sweetly on the public. So I was like, oh, that's cool. And I was like, oh wait, no, not shits, Schmitz, because arson, and like it all came together. So I had the idea ages and ages and ages ago, yeah, that was how I did it. And then after I transitioned, I was like, oh, I bet I can play Adelaide at some point. And then I was like, oh wait, hang on a minute, I know, and she'll be perfect for this one. Layers. Carly Fife, exactly. That's also why, yeah. Like, she is trying to give up smoking, like the gateway ideology to fascism. She's like, you know, she used to, but she's like trying to give it up, but she's tempted, and yeah, that's why. The fact that her initials are ass is a coincidence that I did not realize until after we filmed it. That is just a coincidence. Yeah. Layers. See, it's all people accuse me of being pretentious, but I can justify my creative decision. I think that was all of this kind of notes to self and comments that I have. So before we go on to look at some fan art, I have some questions from patrons. So patrons will know that if you support me to a certain level on Patreon, then you can send me a question that I will answer on live stream. So Astrovex asked, what do philosophers think about the radical transformation of our society through technological advancements? Instantaneous connection through social media, wearable tech, virtual reality, and so on and so on. Where do you see our society and humanity at large in 20 years' time? So philosophers are pretty varied on this, as you'd expect. if you're interested in this sort of thing, I would recommend going back and watching Idea Channel. They're an old YouTube channel now sadly defunct, but their videos are still up. So yeah, go and check them out, because Mike Rignetto was the presenter of that, and he often talked about like technology and philosophy. So go and check them out. But philosophers are pretty divided. So Evgeny Morozov is an interesting philosopher to check out. He's a bit of a doomer. He informed a lot of my video on data, as did a book by Peter Paul Verbeek called Moralizing Technology. That's quite a good one. And a book called The Cost of Connection by Nick Coldry and Ulysses Magias. I wrote them down. I went back and looked them up for you. Oh, hey, Astrovex, you're in the chat. So yeah, philosophers tend to be pretty divided on this. Kind of depends who's holding the reins of the technology. There are some who are a little bit more optimistic. It possibly reflects my my political leanings, that I tend to read the more doomer ones. As for me, I mean, I think it's a mug's game to try and predict the future. So I'm not gonna try. I don't even know what the next 2 or 3 years hold for me. Never mind humankind. So we shall see. Speaking of the future, though, Grace Babcock asks, if you could ask your future self one thing, what would it be? Grace, I think this question is verging on the edge of a little bit too personal, but I will skirt around that deftly by giving you a facetious answer, or at least not an accurate answer. I guess I would want to ask my future self, what's your biggest regret? Because then if it's something that I can avoid, then I can avoid it. I tend to only regret the things in life that I don't do. So I guess, like, I want to know from the future self, like, what did you not do that you wish you'd done, so I can do it. Yeah, that would be cool. That would be nice. Jordan Sullivan says, I would really love to watch a video about agnotology that you mentioned last stream. Well, Jordan, you should subscribe to this YouTube channel that I know called Philosophy Tube, because that is exactly the video that is coming next. The working title of my next video is Ignorance, and it's going to be all about agnotology. So, tune in for that, babes. It's going to be good. I just wrote the first draft the other day. I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be one of those like straight down the middle ones. I considered bringing Adelaide back, but I was like, no, never do the same thing twice in a row. So I have designed a couple of cool costumes. I've got a cool venue. I have considered bringing in an animal, but I will see what it costs and like what the owner of the venue says. So yeah, tune in next time for agnotology. Yeah, working title is Ignorance. I think it's going to be a fun one. It's got some good technical philosophy in it. It's got some good jokes. I'm quite proud of some of the jokes. And also, so it's got some like heart in it. It like talks about some things that are important to me, or at least the first draft does. Usually later drafts tend to whittle that stuff down more. So yeah. Tune in next time for agnotology. I'm almost out of water. Is the music loud enough for you, by the way? I'm bumping along here. Alexis the cat girl asks me, what's the best ending for New Vegas? Independent New Vegas, baby! Woo! That's my army. Out you go, Mr. House. Out to Caesar's Legion, obviously way out. NCR, don't trust you. Independent New Vegas. We're having elections. We're doing democracy. Share the wealth, share the energy from Helios 1. Share the robot control. That's what's happening. And Brandon Reisinger asks, will you ever make a video about competition and fairness and trans people in sport? I'm not going to say no, but I will say probably no. I mean, maybe the answer to will you make a video about X is always maybe, but I don't know anything about sport. Hard to believe, I know, because I'm in such good shape. Yeah, I don't know a whole lot about sport. I have avoided it my whole life. So probably not. You know who keeps threatening to make a good video about that though is Alice Quinn Rose, who keeps batting around cool ideas about sport and trans athletes, because she is one. So yeah, she keeps Have you kept any of the clothes or accessories from the last shoot? Yeah, I do still have the white jumpsuit because that couldn't be returned. So I've still got that. I just use it for like lounging around and now. And I do still have the feathers, and I don't just wear them around because I can't like turn my head and my shoulders get really stiff. What's your guilty pleasure early aughts pop song? Oh God, I don't know what the date of it is, but I was listening to Katy Perry's Hot and Cold earlier on today. I do enjoy that sometimes if I'm in the mood. I guess the Die Another Day. That's because of the James Bond podcast. I was listening to some Bond themes the other day, and I do like Die Another Day. It's a good theme song. I need my hair done. Need to get my hair done, and then TV. Oh my gosh, Danny! Wow, thank you. That's a very generous super chat. Wow, thank you. Climate crisis video, says Virgilius Brutus. I've already done one, babes. I did one in season 2. So if you go back and watch it, it might be a little weird, but yeah, it's there. Yeah. What was I doing? Oh yeah, that's all the Patreon questions. Sick. Apparently Jessie Gender's already made a video about trans athletes in sport. Brilliant. Well, I'll tell you what. Why don't we? Why don't I just chat? I'll look at the chat for about 5 minutes. If you've got any questions about the last video, like, just flag them up in chat, and I'll do that. And then we'll look at fan art, because I'm enjoying talking to you. I feel I've got a bit of energy back, you know. So hit me with your questions. Hi Nathan man, didn't realize you were streaming today. Hi. How you doing? Welcome along. I'm just reading the chat. We've been chatting about the last video. We took a good look at it. Cersei Island asks, will you be coming back to voice act in the next Axiom's End audiobook? I don't know. I think well, that's not up to me. That's up to the publisher, and also like whether there's like a good role for me or not. But I'm certainly open to the idea. Yes. Did you make the feather thing? Where did it come from? No. My stylist Brian found that. I did have a much more hands-on role in designing the outfit this time. Brian pretty much designed the outfit for Capital Punishment. I said some like ideas. But the feather one, I designed that this time and said to Brian, this is what I want. And Brian loves a jumpsuit. He loves jumpsuits. So I said, you know, maybe a dress. And he was like, let's have a jumpsuit. And I was like, come on, fine. So yeah, he loves it. Yeah. Who played the arsonist? Check the credits, babes. Check the credits. But that was my friend. It was a friend of mine who played the arsonist from the neck down. Yeah. Maddie K, that's what we've been talking about just before you arrived, babes. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with this one. Oh, was there any significance for the symbol for Mercury on your forehead? Great question from Aidan Sullivan. So that is, yeah, that's, well, in the first place, there's a reference to Jordan Peterson's book, because he talks about, that's so cool, because he talks about, become who you imagine that you could be, and aim squarely at that. And he uses the symbol of Mercury to talk about alchemy, and Mercury is like the element that can become any other element. No, I haven't, Lewis McDermott, I'm sorry. Yeah, so he uses like Mercury as an alchemical symbol to talk about potential and becoming. And also Mercury is the god of reason and curiosity and learning. Which I thought would be like a nice little, you know. So yes, that's why. It's also, because it looks very much like the female symbol, it's also a nice way to catch out people in the comments who haven't actually read Peterson's book. Because people are like, you're like totally you're like misreading Jordan Peterson, you haven't read him at all, and why have you got the female symbol on your head? I'd be like, aha, you have not read Jordan Peterson Beyond Order Chapter 2. I have read it. I have detail. That's why. There you go. Yeah. What else have we got? How far in advance do you plan your video topics? So I have like I have some texts. What was I saying? What was I saying? I've totally forgotten what I was saying. Oh yeah, I have a folder in my phone that just says PT episodes, and it's just got like a whole list of topics. If I have an idea, then I'll just write it down, and then sometimes I'll like write like sources underneath, or like, would it be cool to bring back this character? Could I do this? I'm not gonna spoil any of them here. Like, sometimes just ideas about like end credit songs here. It just says Foucault ? Not sure what that one's about. The Forbidden episode. All my notes for the Forbidden episode are in here. The episode that will never be made. There's a lot of notes about that. Sometimes I have like jokes planned out and stuff that are in here. That one's probably never going to be made. Yeah. Costume ideas, stuff like that. So yeah, I just sort of plan them out, and then occasionally sorry, I got distracted. Yeah, I just sort of follow the curiosity, really. It's good. Yeah, that's how it works. The Forbidden episode is an episode that is just about trans stuff, and I'm like, I'm never gonna make it. It's like I've gotten all the notes made and like a few jokes and stuff and the basic structure of it, but I'm never gonna make it because I don't want to be like a trans channel, Nava W, great question. How is the acting process different for camera than stage? In some ways it's similar, and then it's like still about responding to what you're being given. Obviously there's like technical differences, so you can't like do like you can't like go big on camera. Like you've got to know things like what size is the frame, so you know how big to do your reactions. Whereas like stage, you just kind of like fill the room basically. Sterling Chansey asks, how do you find your music? I just stumble on it. Adam Talon, have you ever thought about doing a video on Tucker Carlson? Maybe. Again, that's always the answer to will you do a video about this, is maybe. So yeah. Oh, why was the Hungarian text on the board at the end of your last video? Because the rest of the headline got cut off. It was originally transgender health clinic burns down, written in Hungarian. So the idea is this headline's about arson from mostly English-speaking countries, but there was also some in Hungarian and some in Brazilian Portuguese. Like the arsonist has been traveling around the world. If you were a Bond villain, what would your evil plot be? You should listen to the next bonus episode of the podcast Kill James Bond, and you will find out, because that's what we talk about. The next episode is a Q&A, so... How long does it take to mentally move on and stop thinking about a video after it's posted? Usually when I'm done this post-mortem live stream, I'm like, cool, done. Yeah, this one... Excuse me. This one, sadly, there was a lot of transphobia under it. Like, a lot. Which sucks. But, I go through it. I clean it out. I add a bunch of new words to my my comment filtering thing that's like filters out certain words. So, yeah. That's what I do. Olatization asks, what would your alternative solution to young people and a lack of purpose be? I guess my instinct as somebody who's trained in philosophy would be to question the terms of the question. So I would say, why do we think that young people lack purpose? What are they not being allowed to do? I think a lot of young people are drowning under debt and are increasingly, certainly in my country, politically unrepresented. So I would be interested in the structural causes of that. How do you generally overcome the feeling of not covering a topic in a video because others have covered it? I don't. I tend to shy away from videos that have already been done by someone else. I mean, sometimes I do like coincidentally do it, but that's also partly why I don't actually watch all that much YouTube. I certainly don't watch YouTube videos by people who are like in a similar vein to me. Yeah, I just don't. Yeah. Diaz Fidel, we kind of talked about that at the start. But good question. Are there going to be any more bigotry and analysis videos? Yes, I have a plan for Islamophobia and analysis, which is something quite different in terms of format that I've not done on the show before and that I've not seen anyone else do before. So I do have a plan for that, but it relies on COVID. It relies on it being sort of safe to do, not big meetups, but like I need to be able to get like 10, 12 people in a room and have it not be like a problem. So I was kind of thinking about doing Islamophobia analysis next because I want to do it, I want to research it, but I'm just going to have to like keep pushing that back. So maybe summer, autumn, winter, I'd quite like to do that, but it is on my slate for this year. It's something I want to do this year. But yeah. Why was everything white in the recent video? Partly to get a kind of like heaven aesthetic as opposed to the sort of hell of the last Jordan Peterson one. Partly because I think it looks cool. Like it was, well, I knew I wanted to have like an angel costume, so I was like, oh, I'll get like a heavenly set. Thanks, Karina Freeman. So I'll get like a heavenly set. So I was looking through possible venues and I found this one. I was like, oh, gorgeous, like beautiful, angelic, heavenly, fantastic. And also I don't see a lot of people doing videos that have like a lot of white in them, especially in the thumbnails, unless it's a total white void, which I used to do and has kind of been done a lot. So yeah, I decided, go on, I'll do it in like a really nice looking room, and then it worked. Yeah. Thank you, Aimless Corsair. Do you have any thoughts on stuff like the Daily Stoic? I'm afraid I don't know what that is. Sorry. Yes, this is live. Hi, Emmy. Hi. We're just hanging out. We're talking about the last video, but we're kind of just chilling. Gonna look at some fan art in a moment. Also, some people thought that the set in this video was my house. And I was like, damn, I wish, like, this, God, like, I really wish. Oh, by the way, did you like this, this is my favorite bit. This is my really, really favorite bit. This bit where you do the kind of revolving, you probably can't see it very well because we're streaming it, but the 360 with the gimbal camera. Ah, beautiful. I love that. I was so pleased when I thought this up. And this is actually a reference to Husserl, who talks about seeing a table, who talks about walking around a table from all sides. And I was like, well, Edmund, me old son, I can just freaking do that because we've got cameras in the 21st century, you old-timey bitch. Like, watch me do it. So I did it and it was sick. I was really happy with it. David 13ushi says, do you think it would have been better if films like Silence of the Lambs weren't made? I mean, we would have been denied a fantastic performance by Anthony Hopkins. I don't know. Not really my wheelhouse. It sounds like a Lindsay Ellis question, that one. But yeah, the 360, I was like, beautiful. So I was like, that, when I thought that up, I was like, oh, very clever. But yeah, that was good. It was fun. Would you ever do a video on violence in the context of protests and civil unrest? Sorry, wrong one. I do have some notes towards that, and when the George Floyd uprising was happening, I considered it. Yeah, I mean, I have a whole thing in here. No, it wasn't Lauren Butler. I have a whole thing in here in my notes app about like rioting and protest and stuff. And then a lot of it is just, could the arsonist have a wife ? Sister ? And then it's just on my design of Adelaide. And in fact, here's me 2 years ago describing the end shot of the hands and the lighter. Yeah. And even the final line. The gradual reveal is that she's fucking nuts. Yeah, so I've made some notes towards it. I've even decided on what the credits music would be if I did a video about protest, apparently. But for whatever reason, it just hasn't come together yet. I don't think there's quite enough there to do it. Marshmallow Unicorn asks, do you go to protests? Nice try, officer. Nice try. If I did, I wouldn't tell you. It would be a secret. How far in advance do you typically start planning a video? There's no typical, like, as you've just seen, parts of this video that I just did, I like wrote down 2 years ago, and then I write them down, and then I'll be making a video later on about, oh wait, no, I remember that thing, bring it, put it back, like, so yeah. Yeah. Oh, apparently the Lit Crit guy's already done a video on protest. Sick. Oh, I like this music. Very chill. What track is this? Animal Hug. Alright, cool. Akash Rai. Not really my style, babes. Not really my thing. You know. Anyway, why don't we look at some fan art? Because we're starting to get some of the same questions again. So let's have a look. There was a lot of really, really nice fan art on this one. So thank you very much. Let me just boop, 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 boop. Beep, 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 beep. Oh, hey, you know what? There was a lot of transphobia, but then I also get some comments like this. And I'm like, you know what? Sick. Cool. Like, thanks, Justin Archer. Appreciate it. So this one from Anai Sat. Let me just move this over a little bit so that you can see the names here if you want to go back and check any of the artists' names. This is from Anai Sats, which I really like. It's like a nice little sketch of a screenshot. And then this one from Cake Cat Lady, giving me a very nice ass. Love it. Love the detail of the feathers on the arms as well, and the wings. God, just so good. Yeah, just giving me a fantastic bum. Very happy with that. I'm glad that you picked up. I'm glad that you picked up on the fact that the little, you see the little drapey bits. Let me show you. Let me find a better one. The little kind of, this sort of I guess wings that come off the jumpsuit. They are supposed to be suggestive of wings. Just a little hint. Oh God, I just accidentally opened Discord. Oh! You must never go there, Simba. It is a dark place. So yeah, love the detail of the wings. Very, very cool. Thank you. Oh, Cake Cat Lady's in the chat. Hey, nice. Good to have you here. This one from Clown Snake, which I really like. Nice little bit of a detail on the ear. Yeah, we just got some nice B-roll of like. So Brian's always like getting the detail. He's very good eye for detail. That's why I like working with him. So yeah, we got some B-roll of like the ears and stuff. So that was quite nice. Oh wow, Danny, thank you for that super chat again. You're being very, very generous tonight. Loved Adelaide. Don't agree with her. She's just fun. Making a cocktail for her was a nice time. Yeah. Yeah. So I loved this one. This one from Curious Ice 5967 over on the subreddit was kind of like, oh, thank you, Red Rabbit. Yeah, this one was nice. Yeah, so interestingly, in the original, let me talk about Adelaide for a bit. We'll go back and talk about it. In the original drafts of the script, and even up until quite late in the game, Adelaide was just like much more straight up a kind of female arsonist. She was like, she she knew that he was the arsonist and was like deliberately running cover for him. Sorry, I just need to prune the chat a little bit. It's gone so fast I missed it. Never mind. Anyway, in the kind of older drafts, she was just much more like a straight up like female arsonist. But in later ones, she started to get more and more. Well, I realized it was funny if she didn't know, and she was just like lost in ideology. And I realized. Thank you, Amy Soika. Good summary. It would be better if she was like enabling him. So yeah, I thought that would be fun. And the more I leaned into that, the more I explored this kind of like tragic feel to her. Like I was learning my lines and I was rehearsing, and I found this in acting we call it psychological gesture, with the right hand. It was like this kind of ringing motion in the fingers, and I discovered this kind of deep fear and anxiety that drives her. Thank you, Maria G. No, I haven't, I'm afraid. I really found this like, as I say, the fear that drives her, and correspondingly, then what she needs is like safety, and she gets that from her brother and from Ivan. So, I really found that, and the character sort of started to come out quite strongly once I found that. And Nina, who we talked about her song a little bit earlier on, she sent over these lyrics for the song, one of which is Underwater I Feel Safe and Sound. And I was like, ooh, safe and sound, there's something about that. Sort of incorporate that into the character, and then I made it one of her lines at the end, like, he'll keep us safe and sound, you know. She's embracing fascism because she feels it keeps her safe, but of course it doesn't. Play with fire and you will get burned. I just thought of that. Layers! She became much more tragic, and I think potentially there might be room, if she ever does come back, to have her to explore that a bit more, the kind of tragedy of it, because she is she did become a kind of tragic figure. It's just like a cautionary tale. Excuse me. She's kind of like cautionary tale. She is like repulsive, but she's also kind of pathetic in a way. But in a way that's like understandable. That was cool. And so Curious Ice kind of captured the sort of vulnerability of it a little bit more, which is nice. And this one from Fenner1 Sulfur. Love the style of this one. Love the kind of like the pointy fingers and the kind of very plain face. I really, really like this style of drawing. It's very, very cool. I really, really like it. Whoop! I accidentally scrolled through a whole bunch there. And this one from Galdrat, again, totally different, but also love this style. Really, really nice. I knew that people would like this outfit and they would be inspired by it. It's nice. This is a nice one from Hazook. Ideology. Love the pink, it's good. From Innsmouth Soup. Cool name, I like this one too. That's nice. And Metal Blue Kazoo. This is very cool. Nice facial expression. And then we had two from Mia Lupo, which really like, kind of like almost, is Roald Dahl the person I'm thinking of? It might be. Anyway, I really like these two. Very, very cool. Very pointy chin in that one. Love it. Midnight 2718. This was a nice one. Love the addition of the eyes and again the wings. I'm glad that you picked up that was what I was going for. Helviti666. I think that's hand drawn, is it? It's amazing if it is. I wish I could do that. Henley Lynch did this one from the Did this one from No I Don't, Skylark Landing, whatever inspires you, babes. This one was a trace of the of one of the Patron pictures. But I like the addition of the flames along the bottom. That's cool. This one was kind of a bit more out there, from Lady Victoria 7. Very Steven Universe, this one. Really like it. Really like the much more like surreal biblical angel. Be not afraid vibes. Yeah, very, very cool. Yeah, very Steven Universe. I like it. Here's another Adelaide one from Turtles Boots, which I kind of like. Yeah, that jacket's really cool, isn't it? I kept it in case I do Adelaide again. I've kept the wig as well, but that's because it was pretty expensive. And then we had two more. One from Yolk Cheeks, which was on chalk on paper, which is really nice, like really simple. Two colours, I think. And this very Adventure Time one from Anna Diplosis over on Tumblr, which I really, really like. Very, very cool indeed. I'm getting more texts. If you're watching, I'm at work. This is work for me. So yeah, really did enjoy the really did enjoy the fan art from this one. Oh dear. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm just very sleepy. John says you really did capture the deranged columnist vibe. That's exactly what I was going for. The kind of columnist brain madness. Yeah, that's exactly what I was like. That was the idea. Yeah. So I think I'll probably hang out for another 15 minutes at most, because I'm getting sleepy, and if I get sleepy, the stream will start getting sloppy, and it won't be fun for you. So, yeah, maybe like 5 or 10 minutes. In fact, I might even just put on the ending music now and go home and have a cup of tea. Oh, I might even get some chocolate or something on the way home. So let me put on the last few songs. Oh, I love this one. Yeah, it's getting past our bedtimes, all of us. Let's hang out for another 4, 3, 2, 10 minutes. That'll do. So get your questions in now. Get them in. And we'll chill out. Charlotte Areen says, do you ever think about taking a 6-month break to replenish your creativity? Babes, if I did that, the algorithm would not like it. I haven't had a holiday since February 2020. And that was not a particularly restful holiday. I think once the lockdown ends, I'm gonna need a holiday. I might take a week off and go somewhere. Yeah. That'd be nice. D-Toy King 1 says, have you ever thought about doing a behind-the-scenes full-length feature like the good old days of DVDs? Watch this space, me old son. Watch this space. I was just talking to someone about this yesterday. Just stick around. It's not going to be this month. It's not going to be next month. But it's just you read my mind, baby. You read my mind. Nice. Oh, thank you to Alchemic Pink, who says, I wish you a nice weekend. I'm not going to get much of one, actually. I'm going to be working tomorrow and the day after. For Ladhood, for the series I'm doing this week. That would be cool. Yeah, holiday would be good. Holiday would be nice. Yeah. That would be good. How are you going to celebrate your birthday? I think I'm just going to hang out on Zoom with friends because we're still in lockdown here, so. Thank you, Spencer Dixon, who comments on the pacing, and thank you to Pixel. Do you have any good tips or resources for learning to write good scripts? So I do actually pride myself on the pacing of the videos. I guess just over the last few years, I've gotten good at knowing how many turns a video can take and how long a section can be before it starts to get too much. I don't always get it right, but excuse me. I was up very late last night. But yeah, I haven't read Heidegger, no, Paul. So yeah, I think it's just experience. It's experience, babes. I haven't seen Lindsay's new video. I didn't realise it was out until quite recently. She messaged me that it was gonna come out. She was gonna send me a preview of it at some point, see what I thought, but I haven't seen it. What's your favourite beer so I know what to drink on my day off? I don't drink, babes. Or at least I hardly ever drink. I only ever drink on very special occasions now. It makes me sad. Don't know, I think I'm just kind of getting old. Gives me hangovers, you know. Would you ever consider doing a guest episode with a colleague you like to support so you can take time off? That would be even more work, babes. Even more. I think, you know, if acting work, and so the series I'm shooting with the BBC is only a couple of days work, but if at some point I got like a major role in acting that required me to be away for like a few months, then that would probably provide a natural break for the channel, but I would come back to it, like, so we'll see. I'm playing it by ear. If you took a longer vacation and money wasn't an issue, where would you most like to visit? Might that be nice? Ooh, actually, you know what? I know what I'd do. I know just what I'd do. I'd go on one of those liverboard diving trips where you live on a boat for like a week and you just scuba dive twice a day for a week in like Thailand or Belize or Indonesia or somewhere. Oh God, that would be so good. I suppose I would need a swimsuit. And I would need the right boat with the right crowd of people. But if there was such a holiday, that's the kind of holiday I'd like to do. Would you ever make a guest appearance at a college or a university? I've done that a couple of times, and I have been invited. I've been invited to go down and do a speaking event in June at a particular university who I won't mention. But I kind of it depends. I don't like saying, you know, I need to be paid, but I can't really do unpaid work because it takes time away from other stuff. Or rather what happens is that, you know, I say yes to it and it's unpaid, and then I get offered like paid acting work or stuff at the same time and I end up having to cancel. I'm open to the idea, but I can't always. And also there's things like security. That's happened a couple of times that, you know, universities have invited me and I have said sorry. Chat's going a little wild. Yeah, it's happened a couple of times that I've I got distracted for a second there. It's happened a couple of times that sorry, give me a second to just prune the chat here. Bing, bye. What's your favourite marine animal? Octopus. It's happened a couple of times that I have said to universities, yes, I would be interested to come and speak, but they don't really have a kind of plan for security. And unfortunately, these days I need I need to know what the security is going to be like, because there's people who would not like me to speak. People who are trying to silence me. So yeah, if they don't have adequate security plans in place, then I have to be like, get back to me when you do, I'm afraid. It's not easy. In fact, I'm supposed to be doing a speaking gig on Monday with a friend. I need to ask her what the security info is on that. I'll text her in a second. But yeah. Yeah. That's how I like to play it. That's how we like to play the game. So I think we'll probably be here for like another 1 or 2 minutes. Yeah, while the final song that we'd like to end on plays. So if you've got any last questions, get them in. Get them in. The anti-firework brigade are trying to silence me. Advice on how to get out of the endless cycle of working for free. I just started saying, I'm sorry, I don't have any more time to do unpaid work. And then eventually people started paying me. Eli Powers. Yeah, I got a whole bunch. I think we talked about that earlier on, actually. Do you have any favorite fungi? No, all fungi are cringe. I'm anti-mushroom on this show. Anti-mushroom. Swimming skort. Good idea. Good idea. Rose Juliet. Hey, Geordie trans woman solidarity. That's freaking cool. That's cool as hell. Okay, so I think I had better I think I better head back. I might get some. I fancy a brownie. I had a brownie yesterday though. Or like a cookie. We'll see. I might get a little snack-a-rooney on the way home. Tomorrow I'm gonna have a lie-in, and then I need to work on this character for the TV show, and then I got some plans in the evening, so that's gonna be nice. Yeah. But anyway, thanks very much for coming out. Take it easy. Be excellent to each other and party on. Thanks for being a chill chat. Thanks for coming along. Double extra special thanks if it was your first time. That was cool. Hopefully by next month I will have a scented candle for us all. And finally, God, I will have hair that is actually like not a pile of horrible dry straws, and it'll be like a nice color. And yeah. So, take it easy. Take it sleazy. Take it lemon squeezy. Not quite sure where I was going with that one. And then be